for a customer to find you.
True.
In the history of consumers. I say that a lot.
Okay, well then if so many people are out there finding customers and have the ability to get in front of them, how do you go about standing out now?
Our company started on Facebook 5.5 years ago, attached to all the different platforms that are available to different companies. Some fit others better. So it's important to get on one of them and let people know you're alive.
So the plumbing business, I'd be curious to know how that social media and also the person-to-person networking, and that's our topic today, has impacted your business.
We belong to 16 different organizations that we network with.
Wow.
We won't go into one without going full in. We'll sit down, we'll evaluate who they are and if we can contribute to that group. So that gives us a lot of leads and referrals every day. For us, nobody wants to call a plumber, and we know that. So how do we get them to follow us? How do we get them to respond to our posts? We don't talk too much about plumbing.
Yeah.
People are scrolling through their feed, and they don't want to hear a bunch of words about how great we are.
Yeah.
They want to smile and move on. They've got another half an hour to catch up with.
Well, and that makes me curious too I was just thinking about that ironically enough, that I desperately need the help of a plumber right now because I have a couple of things going on. But from a consumer standpoint, there's almost too many choices. So how do you delineate that? Because right now, I mean, if I go on
Strategy or an excellent idea to think about. If you're going to go online and you look at their website, and if it looks up to date and they've got a lot of different platform buttons that you can push, and you push those buttons and there's nothing there, then how active are they? How reliable are they? Are they really in tune to today's way of marketing? For us, we like to have fun with it. We like you to remember that we're here. I don't know how many times we've heard this from customers calling. Jeff, I don't know when I started following you, and I don't know why, but today I need you.
That's awesome. Jeff, you mentioned earlier that you are on several different social media platforms, but Facebook is the mothership.
Mm-hmm.
So what sorts of things are you posting that
Dogs.
just funny stuff?
At first, 5 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all that's important is that they see our logo and our name once a day, 365 days a year. And sooner or later, we're going to become the first thing they think of when they need a plumber.
Right.
And that's what's happened.
It's good strategy.
It's been a lot of fun. It really has.
Good for you.
Thank you.
You know, something you said really resonates with me. It's that when you do these networking activities, you don't talk about plumbing. And I don't know about the rest of the panelists, but I feel like that's been my experience too. As a lawyer, I can't dispense legal advice at a lunch, nor would I. But it is helpful for them just to be in front of them. And so when they do have an issue, they're the one that thinks of you.
These networking meetings, if you're one of those types that just hands out 10 or 12 cards to the first 10 or 12 people you see, people you hand it to are going to go, ugh.
Right.
So if you're doing that online,
Right.
Look at me, hey, we're good, hey, well, you're supposed to be. Let's not talk about that. It's supposed to be about me, the customer. Tell me about me.
Right, Jeff, this is right. I just had a question regarding kind of from a financial standpoint on when you started out, even online. I know Facebook is free, obviously, but when you decide to join certain groups, have you noticed a pricing change in the way that that's structured
If you
at all?
participate in any group or organization, the ROI is phenomenal. We belong to one group, I couldn't tell you.
Well, that's fine. Understandable.
It's unbelievable. But because you participate, again, you've got to be there. Just like on the online platforms. If you post once a month, nobody cares. They forget all about you. If you're at a meeting and you're supposed to be there every week and you come once a month, oh, well, they're probably just here because their charity's getting ready to start.
Right.
I don't know them, but these other people that are participating, all of a sudden, I know when you're having a kid, and I know when you're going to have a graduation,
Right.
and you want me to volunteer for Sunday's brunch, and I say yes. Now, all of a sudden, within a very short matter of time, we've become friends.
And I think in the service industry, that's critical. I mean, it's easy to just throw money at something and sponsor an event, but if that's not going to necessarily turn into anything unless you actually invest in the people that are going and actually maybe getting on a committee or showing up and participating.
Well, there's another thing. Sunday, I did some research online, as I do at least once a quarter. And I see these ads of different plumbing companies, and right underneath all the paid ads is us. I haven't paid anything. So then I looked at the paid ads companies, and I went on their websites, and then I checked out their Facebook and their social media presence, and they've got all the buttons and all the things to press, and there's nothing. So they're paying day after day after day to be social,
Right.
and they aren't.
Not getting anything out of it. And
People know, too.
yeah,
They know.
and I think, I mean, you've obviously executed a variety of forms of advertising and marketing, getting your name out there. I mean, I know you have your trucks wrapped, with the Morgan Miller Plumbing, and I've seen those around town, all over the place, and I think that's great. But you're in one of those industries where it's kind of a need-based, like you said. People don't think about you until all of a sudden they need you and they have a problem, and then now it's who.
Media aspect, which takes time to make sure that you keep all of those things up to date. But also, you're a member of 16 different networking organizations, and so those things take a lot of time too. So is it that, how do you manage that in terms
That's a
of
great
trying to
question.
run your business, but also
On the
doing
social
things?
side, I was involved in it by myself. I accidentally got involved. I was on a high school committee, reunion committee, and they said, that's how we're going to get a hold of everybody. I said, no, we're not. I don't do that. I don't do book face. I still call it that, too. But on the face-to-face networking meetings that we attend, we decided that we would let all of our key employees belong to something
Good.
and get them involved.
Right.
And so once a week, once every other week for an hour or two, they get to go do something completely different and get involved in something that they care about.
So I think one of the things that's important, it sounds like, you've done your research and finding out which networking groups are really the most viable and impactful for you. And I'd just be curious to open up to everybody, what makes a good organization to join? What should you consider when you want to network, and as opposed to, is that something that you guys have found as well?
I think so. This is Tiffany here. There are some organizations where it's an obvious in terms of, yes, we should be a part of this networking organization, but I think you really get some traction when you go out of your comfort zone or go out of your industry area and go somewhere completely different. There's a few things that you can get out of that. A bridge to you just never know where networking is going to take you. You never know who you're going to meet, who things can connect you. And then number two, in terms of trying to find new things, how can you find something new if you're surrounded with people that do the same thing that you do? So